I was talking to Charles Barkley not long ago. Listen to this quote that he had to say when I asked what motivated him to be one of the top 5 rebounders in the history of the NBA. I was actually gigging him a little bit because I said, hey, you're not the greatest specimen, but yet you're one of the greatest rebounders. How did you make that happen? Here's what he said.
Well, because I had success as a freshman, because I led the SEC in rebounding for 3 years. And one of my coaches said, if you get 10 rebounds a night, if you look at the NBA right now, I think there's probably only 7 or 8 guys averaging 10 rebounds a game.
Right.
He says, if you get 10 rebounds a night, son, you're going to be in the NBA. And I'm like, that's going to be my specialty. I'm going to get me at least 10 rebounds a night.
Think about what he just said. Somebody told him a formula for success. They said, you get 10 rebounds a night, you're going to be in the NBA. They said, here is a definition of success. You do this, you get that. And he nailed that down. He said, that is my ticket right there. I can do that. I've got something specific I can do. He had a clear definition of success. In another podcast, I was talking to Emmitt Smith, the #1 rushing champion in the history of the NFL. Listen to what he said.
The foundation of sports is the one thing that I lean on the most. I think it's the thing that has helped shape and guide me and give me the discipline and the focus that I need and that I needed to become who I am. It was my way out of the neighborhood.
What you just heard Emmitt say was what motivated him, and that he had a strategy to change his station in life. He put his station in life on project status. He had himself a strategy for getting out. He knew, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in the projects. I want out. So he had a strategy, and he knew what it was. Here's another quote from Emmitt.
I do believe to whom much is given, much is required right now. They come to watch somebody perform, and somebody perform well. And so to me, I started taking taking on this mantra, like the larger the crowd, the more I wanted to perform. I wanted to give them what they came to see. And so I wanted my talent to stand out on that football field like no other. I wanted people to walk away and say, man, I just think I just saw something very, very special. And that was important because the more, I looked at it this way, the more I performed at my best, the more everyone else would probably perform at their best, and the more opportunities we would have to not only win games, but perhaps even win championships too.
Wow. You just had a glimpse into the heart of a champion. And what did you hear? You heard passion. You heard that he takes action towards a known outcome. You heard what he's saying to himself in his mind when he's pursuing something. What do you say to yourself? He was taking action towards a known outcome, and he was very passionate about it. Then, as though that wasn't enough, he said the following.
I tried to visualize the entire game before the game even was played. I tried to visualize the play calls, when I got the ball, what was going on the defensive side of the ball, where the guys was coming from. I tried to create this picture, this movie in my mind in terms of what I was going to do and what I was going to see and how I was going to respond.
Now, I've talked about the importance of knowing what success was, but good grief, talk about being specific. He's playing a movie in his mind of what success is going to look like, feel like. So visionary. And that's present in every champion I've ever studied. Never, ever did he shy from the challenge. Listen to this.
And so, but having the experience of being in games that are very, very meaningful to you as an individual player and to you as a team is absolutely paramount to your life experiences. I think it all pays itself forward and backwards. It gives you the opportunity to appreciate certain things.
You've heard the old saying, pressure is privilege. He's telling you it matters that you are in situations that are meaningful, that have a consequence. He didn't want to be in a comfort zone. He wanted the ball. He wanted to take risks. Champions take risks. Champions get in the game of life. They get in the game of football, and when they do, they want to be in the pressure positions. They don't shy from center stage. They say, put me in, coach. Give me the ball. Listen to what Shaquille O'Neal had to say.
I was raised by a disciplinarian father. Philip Harrison was a drill sergeant in the Army. So when he met my mother and I at 2, started early. Give me the bottle. Learn how to tie your own shoe. I thank him. I thank him all the time. Like, he was very hard on me, but it's not something that I dwell on now and say, he was too hard on me. I'm glad he did it. Because I look at a lot of guys in my position, they have no discipline, they have no drive, they have no values. So he put that into me right away. As I was saying at 3 years old, give me the bottle.
You hear what he's saying? This isn't about being lazy. This is about requiring the most out of yourself. This isn't about a comfort zone. This is saying, I didn't want the easy road. I wanted the demanding road. I wanted to require a lot out of myself. I put myself on project status. My father put me on project status, and I didn't buck it. I embraced it. And now, when I got into the league, I realized I had an edge on everybody else. You know, I talked to you at the beginning of part 1 and said, I wanted you to be someone that got it. What did I want you to get? I wanted you to have an edge on the rest of the world. This was Shaq's edge. He was disciplined from a very early age. He required a lot of himself. Champions do that. They don't look for the cushy road. They don't look for the easy way out. And what motivated him? Listen to what he says about motivation.
Because that number was a factor. I grew up with nothing. And being the oldest boy and the toughest minded boy, there's a lot of times I didn't get anything. Yeah. But, you know, you always got to take care of the younger sisters. You always got to take care of. So when I'm like $5 million a year, I can get them a house. I can get, like, I was just, that's it's a factor for me. I'm not an engineer. I can't be like, oh, I can, if I write this essay, I can get an engineer. That's not a factor for me. So when I see the $5 million that could change everybody's lives, that's a motivating factor for me. So I had to jump on that chance.
Did you hear that? Jump on that chance. The universe rewards action. He saw something he wanted. He saw a guy make $5 million, and he said, I can do that. I'm going to seize the moment. If that guy's getting $5 million for what he's doing, I can get $5 million for what I'm doing. I'm going to get out there and get mine. I'm going to take action. I'm not going to sit in a comfort zone. I'm not going to have a damaged personal truth and say that's for him, not for me. I'm claiming it. You generate the results in life you believe you deserve. He believed he deserved that $5 million. That wasn't for somebody else. That was for him.
Like, he always used to like do like little weird stuff like that just to keep me pumped up.
Yeah. So you play that game in your mind.
Yes.
You have these internal motivations.
Yes. You're not taking my mother's house ever.
Everybody's driven by something. And as you watch Shaq play basketball all these years, did you have any idea that when he's ripping the rim off the backboard, when he's pushing people out of the way going down the line, that what was in his mind and heart is, I'm going to get that ball, I'm going to put it in the hoop because I'm going to keep my job, because if I lose my job, you're going to take my mama's house away, and you're not taking my mama's house away. That's what motivated him. How about you? What motivates you? And then he told me something beyond profound.
I'm like, damn, Jerry West think I'm that great? I can have my name on. I know I was good, but shit, we still had Mike, Barkley, Ewing. Like, we still had guys that were, like, I'll never be that good. But, you know, when you get somebody like that to believe in you, it turns up another notch.
You remember me talking about personal truth and internal dialogue? He began to put a nucleus of people around him that believed in him, and that meant something to him. Even Shaquille O'Neal, we look at Shaquille O'Neal and say he is basketball. He's like a house with a ball in his hand. But he says, no, it meant the world to me that someone like Jerry West believed that I was special. Let's get away from sports for a minute. Ron White's one of my best friends. A lot of people have said, what? How could Ron White be one of your best friends? He's a dope smoking, cigar smoking, scotch drinking rounder, and you haven't had a drink in 50 years. Well, you don't have to love everything somebody does to love them, and I love Ron White. He is a good man. He's a good father with a good heart. Do I like that he smokes dope and gets drunk too often? No, and I tell him every chance I get. But he doesn't listen. I still love him. And he's one of the hardest working people I have ever met. This guy makes millions of dollars filling up arenas, and he does 200 nights a year.
What I would do, and this is brilliant, and I know you'll agree, is I would invent stage time. So I would go to a restaurant and say, you guys should have a comedy competition here, and first prize is dinner for two. Then I would only tell comics that I knew I was funnier than because I needed that dinner for two.
Yeah. So
I wanted to win, so I wouldn't invite anybody that was any good. It would all be really crummy comics and me, who was a little less crummier than those guys are, just to get a meal.
Now, he puts a joke into everything, but listen to the initiative he's talking about. This wasn't a comedy club. He would go into a restaurant and say, you need a comedy act here. He had the initiative, the motivation, the passion to create a place to be. I asked him about that, and he said this.
My only goal is to make you laugh as hard as you can physically laugh for as long as I'm on stage. That's my goal. It's not that you walk away smarter, because you certainly won't. Obviously, what I want you to do is walk away with your face hurting.
That's a definition of success. He knows what his lane is. He knows what he's good at, and he passionately pursues it. He's defined success very specifically, and he's taking action in that area. He's not trying to be all things to all people. He has decided, this is who I am. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm pursuing, and I'm going to be the best there is at what I do. What is that for you? What is your special skill? What is it that you do better than anybody else? What is it that is uniquely you that you can put on project status to improve in the next 12 months and make a quantum leap forward? And are you willing to do what you need to do it? You don't leap tall buildings in a single bound. You do it a step at a time.
I'll do 3 sets a night when I'm in town. I'll do the Improv, Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, and sometimes I'll do 3 sets at the Comedy Store. So sometimes it's 5 sets a night.
He's talking about when he's not doing a city. He's talking about when he has time off. He'll be home and go to a comedy club down the street for no money and do 3, 4, 5 sets a night just to hone his skill.
So if I want to stay really, really sharp on stage, I do a lot of sets. I still do 110 cities a year in big venues, and then another, 10 or 12 sets a week.
Steve Harvey is another amazingly talented comedian, actor, talk show host, MC, producer. He said something that was really interesting and showed so much the heart of a champion.
You know what, man? Because I think we cut from the same type of cloth. You said something to me a long time ago. You said, you blowing out my candle ain't gonna make yours brighter. And I've used that so many times, and I've always given you credit for sharing that with me. And that's what a lot of people think, man. A lot of people think that if you blow somebody else up, that makes you less, or if you lessen somebody, that blows you up. No, man, your candle flicker is your candle flicker.
What he's talking about there is you don't get ahead by putting other people down. You get ahead by being the best you can. This is a guy that hoed rows of corn in a field when he was 11 years old. And you know, these champions didn't start at the top. They started where they started. They started scratching out a living. Because you may be sitting there thinking, well, yeah, that's easy, be quoting these champions, these multi-millionaire world champions. It's great for them. But I'm sitting here living in a rented apartment in a neighborhood, barely making my car payment or rent. Let me tell you, these guys didn't start out making millions of dollars. Listen to what Steve Harvey said. His philosophy was, you do what you can do when you can do it.
Don't turn down no gigs.
Take them wherever.
He said, look, man, this business right here, what good is it you to sit at home? Because there's no school for comedy. There's nothing you can go do to become a comedian. You have to be born this way. So the only school for comedy is the stage. You have to go there as many times as you can. He says, so if somebody offer you $125 for the week and you've been getting $250, you're not going to go get the $125? So you're going to sit at the house and get $0? Or you going to go to school and get $125? He said, man, they paying you to learn the craft. Never forget that. And that was it. I took every gig. I didn't care what it paid. If I was off, I took the gig. That was the greatest advice he told me. That hustle has remained in me since then.
Now he's talking about what Sinbad, another great comedian, told him. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Don't pass up any gig. Take action towards a known outcome. And it's not going to be a success-only journey. You know, I read one time where Michael Jordan said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. This is not a success-only journey. This is something where you've got to fight your way every step of the way. Billie Jean King, greatest women's tennis player of her era, maybe of all time, said, a champion is afraid of losing. Everyone else is afraid of winning. Now, what do you think she means by that? She means people live in a comfort zone, and it takes guts to win. Because why? People have a damaged personal truth, and they think, I don't deserve to win, and when it gets down to it, they'll find a way to lose. They'll choke. They'll find a reason. Do you do that? Do you come in second? Do you fall short? Because in your heart of hearts, you don't really believe you're a winner. You don't really believe you're a champion. A wise man once said the difference between winners and losers is that winners do things losers do not want to do. Well, maybe it wasn't a wise man. Maybe that was me. But that's really a good thought when you think about it. Winners do things losers don't want to do.